Hello, I'm Chuck Long, and on this edition of the Entertainment Outlook, Nashville author Greg Howard's first book, Blood Divine, is generating a lot of buzz. Reviewers calling it fresh and exciting, a brilliant combination of horror, thriller, and adventure. Underworld meets Gone with the Wind. Written in such a gripping manner that I could not put it down. Here's a look at the eerie trailer.
They've been here for thousands of years, watching, waiting. Their enemies are closing in and their numbers have been decimated. But one man, with demons of his own, possesses the key to their survival. His blood, and they will have him no matter what the cost.
So exciting. Oh my gosh, Greg Howard, author Greg Howard, this is big news.
Well, that looks pretty scary.
It does, it does. I'm loving it. So we'll get to all the scary details, but I mean, what does it feel like to have your first book right here, this is it, published?
It's been a lifelong dream. It really is. It's when I got my first copy in the mail, I just was ecstatic because I've been working on it a long time, and you go through a lot of rejection, but it's a great feeling.
Oh, I bet it was. Now, a lot of people talk about writing a book, but few do. Did you feel like you had a gift for writing?
I don't know if I would call it a gift. I know I had a passion for it ever since I was young, writing short stories, and I would watch made-for-TV movies and then write them. That's called plagiarism, so don't do that. But I would act like I did. But I just always, it was something I always wanted to do, and I would start something and put it down, start something, put it down, but I finally just said, I'm going to finish this.
What was your routine for writing?
Well, I work a full-time job in the music business, so very stressful job, so the only time I could really focus is about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I get up Monday through Friday at 4 a.m. and write for 2 or 3 hours, go to work, and then usually all day Saturday and Sunday.
Wow. Now, in the book, you actually thank all the agents who turned you down. So
yes.
What was it that kept you from giving up?
Oh, I could have given up any day. 62 agents. Just to say, no, it's such a subjective business, and what my author friends kept encouraging me, and these are people who've had a lot of success, is it only takes one yes. It only takes one yes. You're getting, and I would just get all these no's, but they kept saying it only takes one yes, and that's true.
And that's not uncommon in the publishing business,
not at
because
all.
I've got other author friends who say, you know, they had rejection after rejection after rejection, but like you said, it only takes one yes.
It's so subjective, and agents are looking for a reason to say no. So if they're just ticking off, they've got so many things to read, they want to say no. It's easier.
Yeah. Okay, so Blood Divine, again, I keep showing the cover because I've known you for a long time, and it's very exciting just to know that you have done this. And you've got another one coming after this we're going to talk about as well. But Blood Divine, so how did you land on this story? One of the reviewers that we quoted at the beginning said, Underworld meets Gone with the Wind. How do you describe it?
I love that quote. I love it. And that's a little bit about the supernatural races at war in the book, and then it's set in the Deep South, you know, on an antebellum plantation. So that's a little bit where that comes from. But I would describe it as a Southern Gothic paranormal thriller. And I kind of landed on it because I wanted to write about vampires, but I had to do it in a fresh way. So I found a way to pull in some biblical mythology and kind of reintroduce the whole vampire thing, marrying it with my church background.
Yeah, well, and it's a great ghost story too. As I'm reading it, I'm just loving it. And I got to tell you, you know, regardless of knowing you, I love this book. It's clever, it's witty, it's scary, it's exciting, it's a thriller. It's everything I look for in a book.
Oh, great!
I'm loving.
I want to read that.
Yeah. Well, your lead character,
yeah.
Cooper, is gay.
Right.
Were you ever concerned that might make it a tougher sell?
I wasn't concerned, but I knew that it would, and it did. I mean, that was one of the things that was ticked off. It was, they're looking for something very specific. All the publishers say they want diversity, but they want it in very specific ways, and paranormal is not really one of those ways. So it was finally found a home with a small gay press.
Now, the opening story is kind of a ghost, or actually it is a ghost story, and it's based on your own experience. So tell me about that.
That's kind of how the whole book started, was this experience I had when I was 8 years old with me and my brothers and friends, and we lived right down the road from Mansfield Plantation, which plantation the book is based on, and we would ride our bikes down that 2-mile dirt road and just get the bejesus scared out of us, you know, with the old slave cabins and the manor house, and some things happened that day that I write about in the book up to a certain point, but I'm not going to give it away. But yeah, that prologue is pretty autobiographical.
It's really scary. I just love it. Nobody loves a good ghost story like I do. And I actually had the privilege, we were all together, a big group of us, and we went to the Mansfield Plantation, and I got to tell you, I can see where you would get a lot of inspiration to write about that.
Right. I could write so many books based there, and I did a lot of research into the history of Mansfield. It's now a beautiful bed and breakfast, so please check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the book opens in Nashville, but it quickly, goes to Georgetown, South Carolina, and that is where you grew up.
Yeah, that's my hometown.
So what made you choose that as the setting?
Georgetown is this peculiar little town. It's very charming. It's on the coast of South Carolina, and it's known as the ghost capital of the South. So I grew up hearing ghost stories. There are books written about Georgetown ghosts. So that kind of inspired that kind of creativity in me. I think just the whole ghostly aspect of that small southern town just kind of really inspired me.
Now, there are some pretty steamy scenes in the book, and I was thinking a lot of times actors talk about filming a steamy scene, and they say it's a little uncomfortable. What about as a writer? Was it uncomfortable writing them, or was it just a piece of cake for you?
I think actors have it so much worse because people are watching. You know, I'm on my couch with my dogs, and well, let's not get into that. But give me a glass of wine and just let yourself go. And you get into the character, and if you've done your job, you've already fallen in love with the other hero in the book. So you just imagine that you're with that hero, and it came pretty easily.
Okay. Now, I want to make sure that people get information on this book, so we're going to put up the full screen telling you where you can get the book. You can get it on Amazon.com and here in Nashville. And I always say support your local bookstores. So go to Parnassus Books here in Nashville or Barnes & Noble at Vanderbilt. You can find it there again, or Amazon.com, and you can get more information on it at GregHowardAuthor.com. It's on your screen right there. Jot that down. Now, before we let you go, Greg, I got to ask you, you got the next book that I alluded to. Major publisher is taking care of this in Simon & Schuster, and it's called Social Intercourse. Tell me a little bit about that.
Completely different. It's a young adult romantic comedy between two teenage boys, and it's just fun. It's completely different from Blood Divine. You'll just laugh from start to finish.
When is that going to come out?
Spring 2018.
Spring 2018. So you've got to come back and talk about that.
Would love to.
All right. So again, though, the book is Blood Divine, and you can find it on Amazon and in Nashville at Parnassus Books and Barnes & Noble at Vanderbilt. Greg Howard, thanks so much. Get the book. That's all the time we have for this edition of Out and About today. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.